Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where I am checking out more of Ningen Is. Ningen Is being a really interesting band to listen to on this channel. All I can really say is this is an interesting one. This one's been suggested to me quite a few times, and I have put it off quite a few times for very basic reasons. And it's not the slightly suspiciously depressing title, Lovers Suicide In Shinagawa, because usually, I've got to admit, the very dark sort of doom metal, I think someone referred it to as, band. But they have this real sort of tongue-in-cheek sense of humour to them that I really like, just down to their whole image and everything. They know how to balance sort of having a real rock image without taking themselves too seriously and getting too dark. So that wasn't what put me off. What put me off is that with Ningen Is, the songs that I like most are usually their quickest. The ones where they go really, really full on. I loved the new song that just came out. I left a review for that I encourage you guys to check out. I just loved that. I thought it was brilliant. One of my favourite ones before, I always forget the name, I'm already bad at remembering song names. I think it was The Colour Out of Space or something. But again, it was very fast, had lots of changes. It was really engaging. Now, I know that Ningen Is have that on one side. And on the other side, they have this sound which is more of your sort of chugging doom metal, sort of slower, riff-based, very... sort of building up a moody feeling. I gotta admit, I find those ones less engaging, and they tend to be the longer ones. Interesting enough, Heartless Scout, which was a song that seemed to break them out quite recently, even though they've been around for like 30 years apparently, that seemed to have both to me. It had like the bits where I went crazy, and it had like the really slow bits where I gotta admit I started to lose a bit of engagement. And that was quite a long song, so I don't know what to expect here. At 8 minutes 30, I should probably start listening to it soon, or this reaction is going to take forever. But at 8 minutes 30, I've got to say that I'm a little bit cautious about how I'm going to feel. But maybe if it is a slow one, it's going to have some fast bits in the middle, which will give it those little interesting redeeming features for me. Anyway, those are just my personal tastes. But as always, we try to be fair on this. We try to be give an objective opinion, but also look at the music theory and talk about the qualities of the song as well. So I'm looking forward to getting a feel for it. But anyway, it's 8 minutes 30, so I'm going to shut up and let's get on with it. This is Lovers Suicide in Shinagawa by Ningen Is. Yeah, Shinagawa. Yeah, okay. Right, that's the band name, and yeah. Playing shamisen. Oh no, now we're back on the guitars. So this is what he looked like with a full head of hair. He kept it longer than I did. Alright, let's go. Nice and pacey, decent riffing as well. I can hear the shamisen in the background, which is a really nice choice. It's thickening up the riff. Or the melody, I mean. I really do like the melody, actually. I'm really enjoying this one so far. I think this song really suits his singing style as well, because he does sing with that sort of old style Japanese singing voice. It works well with the metal, but this is really hybriding sort of Japanese folk music and metal in a very effective way, and his voice is just working really well in this. feel like this melody's reminding me of something, but I can't tell what. But it is a really good melody so far. Time for another Ningen Isu bridge. Let's see where this goes. They've switched it up with another riff, a good riff again. This is a very riff-based song, but they've good riffs in there. All very engaging, not too slow, and brilliant vocal melody to match it as well. Where did the bassist got over the other side? That was a beautifully written passage. I don't know if that's a bridge or something they're going to come back around to, but I really like that passage. Again, there's a lot of really beautiful melody in this. Often they're more about the riffs than the melodies, but not so in this one. Little Omamori hanging from his guitar head. This song has got such a wonderful melody that it's got such a wonderful melody and it's so theatrical that it's almost relaxing. You kind of feel like you can really sort of slip into the mood of it. I'm only getting little bits of what he's saying. So the bass player always carries crazy really well. Taisho Koto, one of my favorite instruments to play. So at this point, yeah, the song maybe feels like it's repeating itself a little bit too much, and yet it's such a nice melody that it's fine. Oh, they've gone back around to spoke too soon. like how the video cutting's sped up as well now. Don't quite get how they died, but maybe because I didn't fully understand the dialogue in the middle. That was really, really interesting. Not what I expected at all. Credit where credit's due. That was, yeah, that was a really interesting one. Definitely the one thing I'd say straight off the bat is it's obvious that the mood of the song really sort of carries. And the video helped with that as well. It set the scene nicely. I think considering the title of the song, you get the feeling there's a definite narrative, and that was nicely matched with the video, which kind of showed... It was obviously simply shot on a assumably relatively low budget, but they picked the locations well, the colouring, the lighting. The mood was very clear, which was nice. And, you know, the actress who they used there and the actor as well, though we saw less of him, seemed to really carry the mood really well. The band just sort of played in their usual stoically crazy. It's a mixture of stoicism and crazy the way they perform, I think. They managed to do that, and that fitted in with the video really as well. So I think the video did help this song sort of cement its narrative, cement its mood. But the song itself, a lot of credit. Like I say, at 8 minutes 30, more or less, you know, take away the intro and exit, well, basically 8 minutes at least, therefore, it really actually filled that time surprisingly well. There was at least two very distinct and strong melodic sections that we used quite regularly. One that I felt was kind of like the bridge, one was kind of like the verse. It was kind of hard to see anything as really being a chorus in this song, but that's fine, because like I say, it had a slightly theatrical element. And again, this plays slightly into what the video was doing, but it did feel like it was traveling somewhere. Like you were part of a story rather than listening to a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus style traditional pop, rock, metal song. Pop or rock or metal. I'm not saying there's a genre with all three, although there probably is. From some of the artists we've heard on this channel. So for me, that was something where it felt very different. I've mentioned about the favourite songs I have in Ningen Issu, and I think that they were going for a different thing. They were going for hitting you with a sort of a musical intensity, and they were really sort of rocking along. This one, like I say, didn't even feel like it was a rock or a metal song in any of those senses. It felt more theatrical. It felt like a soundtrack, and that therefore brings everything full circle and really puts together with, like I said, the video, the title. It makes sense. It clicks really well. So like I say, on a section-by-section basis, this was really good. It moved between its sections quite well. I think you had the guitar solo, and then you had the little bit with the narrative. Like I said, I didn't really fully understand what the narrative was, what he was saying to them there. But after that, I think after that point, the song kind of felt like it went back to where it was before, and it repeated like that. Sort of the melody that we had originally, and I felt at that point maybe it was becoming a little bit repetitive at that point, but then I think I was looking at the clock, we were already about 6.5 minutes in, so it had already achieved quite a lot. And you know, like I said, then it had its final little change that caught me out while I was talking. But I think probably if it were I probably would have drawn the line, not knowing what that narrative bit was, apologies. I would have probably drawn the line after that first guitar solo, which would have been a good, sort of probably about a good 5.5, 6 minutes in anyway, so it would have still made it a very long song. You know, sort of Bohemian Rhapsody, American Pie length sort of song. So that would just be my personal preference, but again, we all know that I like my songs sort of tight and efficient. I always enjoy songs that, you know, don't troll too much. So considering how long this is, and considering it is of their style, and considering the songs I've heard by theirs before, where maybe I have felt, oh, this is, you know, too much length. This one, certainly, that's a minor criticism. I don't think it would be something I'd overly complain about. I just really like the feel of that. I like the way it was written. The interesting thing is it was very riff-based, but it was very melodically based. And often when you think of riffs, they don't usually go well with so much with melody. Riffs tend to go with rhythm. You think of sort of like riff-based music, a lot of the time it's very sort of more rhythmic vocals and rhythmic sort of drumming. You know, this is why you look at things like hip-hop. I mean, I know you had like new metal and stuff like that, but even hip-hop is based on loops, which are effectively riffs a lot of the time. And so, you know, you think of riffs, you think of something like that. But what was interesting here is that you had a very melodic song, more so even than any of their other songs. This was by far the most melodically engaging song I've heard from Ningen Is, and it used his voice really well. I felt his voice really matched this, like I said. So maybe we just need to hear him being given slightly more interesting melodies like that, again, in my opinion. But yeah, I thought it was wonderful to see it developing really good riff building with a really good melody. That was a wonderful juxtaposition that ended up working perfectly. And again, I thought it was really, really good decision to have the fast shamisen strumming sound underneath the vocal melody to support it. Because his voice is it's quite sort of, it's got a sort of a depth to it in actuality, which coming along with sort of chugging guitars and everything can sometimes leave the top end of Ningen Is songs sounding a little bit thin. So having that with his voice as well added a slight sort of sharpness, a slight sharper timbre tone to the melody as well, made it stand out a little bit more than sometimes it does with his voice. Usually, I mean, the funny thing is that singing style, I mean, I haven't really thought about this previously because his voice is wonderful, but now I come to think about it, yes, his voice alongside an electric guitar maybe is problematic in that sense. And the reason I say that, when you think about the way songs are mixed, and we're talking not so much about volumes here, but EQ, like the frequencies. Imagine you've got your graphic equalizer, your EQ at home, or like on your computer, usually on apps now as well. You know, you can up and down certain frequencies. When you're mixing a song, what you try to do is you try to give a peak in frequency to each individual sound, whether it be like the bass will have one lowered down, then you have the guitars, the vocals. You try to give everything its little space, so it's got a certain frequency where each individual sound punches through most to give everything its own area of clarity. Because his singing is like that, and it's very much in a similar frequency, I think, to those chugging guitars, it probably means that his voice doesn't stand out as much from a guitar a lot of the time. So I think techniques like this were quite nice, because usually you think of that style of singing, it goes really well with traditional Japanese music, which is usually played on things like shamisen, kotos, shakuhachis, traditional instruments that tend to have quite higher frequency sound. So usually with traditional Japanese folk music, you've got the voice is in the lower section of the frequencies, the instruments are usually in the higher sections of the frequencies. But with rock, the instruments tend to move down a little bit, so you need to move the melody up, would be the traditional thinking, to give it a bit of clarity. So, like I say, I mean, very simple technique, very simple thing, but on a technical level, as well as a stylistic level, it gives it that nice sort of traditional Japanese feel, which is lovely. On a technical level as well, it really helps the melody punch through, and this is a wonderful melody, as I've said a couple of times now. Anyway, I really enjoyed that, much more than I expected. Sorry it took me so long to get around to that. Enjoying Ningen Is, still want to hear more. As with all of these bands, it's always interesting when you've got some bands who you like some of their songs more than others, because it gives you something interesting to discuss there. But as always, these are a mixture of me explaining the technical things and, you know, sort of working from musical experience, but I am only giving my own subjective opinion after all, so please, please, please get in the comments and tell me your opinions. They're obviously just as valid. Looking forward to seeing what you guys say in the comments, and yeah, hopefully be doing more Ningen Is soon. But for now, ciao ciao. Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out more of our hundreds of videos we got online on this channel right now, or get involved in the discussion with us at the many social media links we've got in the description below, where you can suggest new videos and artists for us to check out on the channel. Or you can just do the usual YouTube stuff and, you know, comment, like, subscribe. You know how this works by now.